I got bronchitis. No one got time for that. I got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Activists demand that Black English be pushed on kids in California preschools. Black English. This is supposed to be a thing? Is this supposed to be good for the country? Because once again, I see it as lowering the bar to a point where everyone has to be a retarded moron, because exceptionalism is white supremacy. Exceptionalism is racist, because everyone can't be exceptional, because the people that are left out are being oppressed. They're being told they can't do things that the exceptional people could do, and we can't have that. So instead, we need to drag everyone, even the exceptional kids, down to the level of the lowest common denominator. That makes for a great country, doesn't it? We didn't used to do that. And as a country, we were in the lead year after year as far as the education of our young people in America. And now, I mean, they're just shoving people through schools. They're getting out. They can't read. They can't write. They can't do math. They know nothing about history, science. It's just nothing to them. We've seen so many videos. Here, read this. The propaganda of the Ecuadorian. What? They don't know anything. They can't read, right? Math is a whole nother thing. For how bad they are at English and reading and writing, math is abominable when it comes to our young kids in school. So now what they want to do, they realize that English, proper English, is difficult. There are rules that need to be adhered to. Rules dictated by grammar, spelling. These are things that are part of speaking properly. And because it's not easy, it has to be learned. It takes a little bit of work. They would rather just lower the bar and say, Black people should be able to speak however they want. So when you say, he went they house, where is Robert today? Can you tell me where Robert went this afternoon? He go they house. Oh, so he went to their house. He go they house. And that's what they want. Black Californians United for Early Care and Education. This is what they want to do. Lower the bar. The movement also seeks to address how language bias, it's language bias, asking Black students to speak proper English is bias. Language bias shows up in early learning spaces and how it can be dismantled. Why should it be? I don't want my son to walk into a room and feel like his voice is not valued or his perspective can't be heard because he's not saying it one way or the other. The co-founder of Black ECE, Ashley Williams, told PBS. So she's worried that her kid, yeah, is that her? Of course it is. She's worried that her kid is going to, as they grow up, they're going to be left out of jobs and other institutions or activities because he's speaking improperly. And yeah, that will happen. I have to assume that if a prospective employer is holding interviews and a person comes in and says, he go they house, you're done. Yeah, we'll give you a call, huh? Thank you for coming down. And there goes the fucking application. Right into the old shredder. Right into the shredder. And instead of saying, I want my son to be educated properly, to speak properly, to put in the work, and to learn how to speak proper English so that they're not discriminated against based on the way they speak. That would be the sensible thing. A caring parent would want that for their kids. You don't want to send your kid out into the world at a disadvantage. So instead of that, she wants the entire fucking school to speak like idiots. She thinks if everyone speaks like a retard, then it's accepted. The employer is going to speak like a retard, the secretaries, the workers. So then, he go they house can come in and fit right in. Now your dumb kid isn't being discriminated against because everyone's a retard. Does that sound good for society? It sounds typical of what these idiots do and the shortcuts they want to take and they want their kids to take. And they want no penalty for being lazy and not motivated to do what's right and learn what needs to be learned in this country. So they bitch and complain. And then when people go, hey, how about he learns how to speak proper English? Then what is it? Of course, it's racist. And people shouldn't have to speak that way. It's not his culture and this and that. And there'll be 20 excuses as to why everyone should be brought down to the level of these idiots. What else was in that piece? She also remembers how speaking Black English is full of slangs and grammatical errors, so it came with a lot of embarrassment. Yeah, as well it should. Black ECE is a nonprofit organization centered around 10-point policy plan that seeks to gain reparations and help Black children, families, and workers. California released a plan promoting early dual language learning and calling on the state's education system to support bilingual children in their development in 2020. But the advocacy group believes that Black vernacular should be included. So they're trying to, they're trying to add this as if it's another language. Like, you have some Spanish-speaking kids and they learn English and now they're bilingual. Well, they could learn their English, but they also learned their Black English. We talk about multilingual, but we don't include Black children who may be African-American English speakers. There's no such thing as African-American English. It's called speaking improperly. It's called being lazy. And it makes you look like the idiot that you are. And you aren't going to get that job. You're going to work at McDonald's. You're never going to progress because any employer with any sensibilities would not hire you. You're an idiot. And your laziness as far as learning how to speak properly doesn't reflect well in the employer thinking about how you might work. Maybe you're a lazy fuck when it comes to working too. But excuse after excuse after excuse. Williams also recalled her experience in having to talk white and talking in her comfortable English and feeling insecure. Comfortable English. Talk white. Proper English is talking white. All right. Because it's the way it's supposed to be done. It's proper English. Holy shit. They will go to great lengths to perpetuate their poverty, their lack of ability to get employment, to communicate with people in a society. Holy shit. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that fucking amazing? This is what happens. This is what happens when you let people slack off as a community, as an entire group of people. You let them slack off and you excuse their shitty behavior and you accept that they speak this way. No one else gets away with speaking as poorly as black people do. It's you go to the Appalachian Mountains, find some hillbilly white people, and you will hear a hillbilly vernacular, and it'll be, wow, holy shit, those people, that is some real hillbilly speak, some authentic country gibberish. But it's not an entire community. Like, those people aren't saying that everyone should speak that way so that they are more accepted in the way they speak. I don't think they give a shit. They're just having a good old time. But black people, when they are criticized or held back because of their laziness as far as learning English goes, they want the whole system changed. They don't want to work at it, and then they call it racism. When, and it is because liberals have excused them for so much. You see news interviews all the time, and you hear black people speak, and it's like, it's funny. You go, holy shit, how many of those man on the street interviews do you see? And they're just, I said, Lord, it's a fire. I got bronchitis. No one got time for that. And you're like, this is hilarious. It's like a comedy sketch. And no one says anything. If a white person was being interviewed and they were speaking in some wacky way, they'd go back to the anchors and they'd look at each other and go, well, that man certainly had a unique way of speaking. And in sports, black people just speak like that. They'll do a man on a street, they throw it back to the studio, and no one says a word. No one goes, woof, I hope the subtitles were on at your house because I don't know what the fuck that person was saying. You know how much trouble a news anchor would get in for bringing up the fact that black people are not speaking properly and making a joke like that? Like, oh, I hope your subtitles were on for that one, people. You're fired. Fired immediately, instantly. Gone, fired. But again, like I said, if a white guy was making some wacky language way to speak English and he's throwing in his own weird accent, they would say something. Oh, I wish I'll have some of what that guy's having. Sports next. Why? Why is that? They're treated like retards. It's acceptable to treat black people like retards and not expect them to do what is expected of everyone in society. So we make excuses. They feel they're entitled to their own African American English, which is uneducated, the wrong way to speak English. But there they are. Keep lowering the bar. Keep lowering the bar, everybody, especially for black people.